Okay, this is take 3. Hopefully this time I will get it right. I am making a jammer bag tutorial, and many of you have asked for one, and I know that there are a bunch online, but this is how I make them, and the ones online are a little bit different, not much, and you could definitely just tweak it however works best for you. So we have our jammer bags, 2 different colors for this bag. I'm only making a small one, so basically the front will be 4 jammer bags and the sides will be 2, and that's all. They require 14 individual little packages in order to do that. And first you're going to clean them, which I've already done, so I'm not even going to go through that process with you because I'm sure you can clean them on your own. The easiest way to do it is to take the bottom and make a hole right here. These ones I haven't done that because I only learned that technique from watching somebody else's tutorial. Normally I stuck a straw in the hole and just rinse them that way, which is a lot more time consuming. So my suggestion is to just slit a hole and rinse them that way. And then you'll want them dried out. So the way I start is usually by doing 7 sets of this kind of idea where you just sew right down here. 7 times, and you can alternate them if you want, or if you want them all exactly the same. Basically the idea will be that when you go to sew them together, they're going to be, we'll do it the opposite. Sorry. You're going to sew them together like this. So when I say 4 by 2, I mean 4, and then the sides will be 2 like this. So actually, sorry, I probably did that wrong. You'll want to sew 7 sets of this is what you'll want to do, because that will be the way the sides will look. All right, and then the other thing that you kind of need to decide right from the get-go is what kind of ribbon you want to have. I don't use the bags as handles. I use ribbon. It's much more sturdy and lasts longer. So I use about an inch and a half, I think it is. 7/8 of an inch it says, but interesting. Never would have thought it was that small. Okay, so you can use any kind you want of things. I have some that are reflective tape that I used for Halloween trick-or-treat bags so that the kids could be seen much better. And then I have a really, really, really thick type one like this. It's pretty much like a canvas bag type of a strap. It's heavy duty, and so it depends. The bigger the bag, probably the better, the bigger you want this. These are just like fancy ribbons that you can get at like Walmart or Michael's or something like that, which I often would buy when they're on sale. So yeah, I pick a color that suits and have that ready to go. We will get back to that in a minute, but it just means it's easier for you to decide from the beginning. All right, so I'm going to pause it because I'm not going to sew while the camera's on, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. Okay, oh, by the way, make sure that you have the stitch on zigzag back and forth, and I do it at this point still just single, so just once through, because this is the least this section right here is where there's not much pressure at all for it need to be reinforced or strengthened. So just one like zip across it, and then I'll get back to you in a minute. All right, hi, I'm back. So this is what I've done. I've made two like this, and then I have two like that. Actually, I have three because you'll need one for the bottom as well. But now what we're going to do is we're going to put the ribbon on one that's this size, so it's only just going to be like this big. I don't often reinforce the back of this one. It's mostly just this. But if we were doing one that was a 4x4, as I call it, where you've got it more of a square shape, I would definitely reinforce the back of the sides as well, just to make sure that it's stronger. But at this point, all we do is we're going to take the ribbon and we're going to stretch it along the back. Well, I'll show you like this, sorry. Like this, it's going to go like this. So we need two that are this length. So I usually just go like that and cut it so that I have it ready to go. Like this, basically, it's just going to be your small little piece. There's nothing much to it. And then your handle. So I usually just eyeball it. I don't really have a set length. So I match basically it up from where the straw holes are and kind of just see whether or not I like the length of it. This is about good because when you hold it up, it should be enough for a hand to get in there. So I just cut it then. Oh, sorry, again, I double it like this. I often pick colors that are a little bit bright and perhaps just pick up on a secondary or tertiary color in the jammer bag itself. So in this case, we are using the Fruit Punch, which has a little bit of yellow up here. So that's why I've chosen the yellow ribbon. I like bright colors. My husband, on the other hand, does not, and he would prefer a brown, boring bag any day. Not that he's ever going to use a jammer bag because he just doesn't see the need. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we are going to take your back reinforced piece, and I'm just going to show you how it works. So you don't sew it. You're just going to measure it, line it up. You take your handle, and the handle I slip underneath just like this. So if you can see that, move that out of the way for now, to this. So the sewing gets done from the back at this point. So if you have a strange, odd color bobbin, that's going to be what's on the front. So you want to make sure that your bobbin color isn't something that will look really funny and obvious. As you can see here, I used red, which matches the actual jammer bag. So what I do then, sorry, getting back to this. All right, so you got this, and as you're sewing it on, you're gonna have this one already in place, so there's no extra stitching. And like I said, you match it up to where the straw hole is on the front, and you put it in the entire way so that it's a good inch in, if that makes sense. So then you're gonna sew across the top, and you're gonna sew on the bottom and come back. But as you do that, you're gonna make X right here so that the handle is strong and reinforced. I will show it to you after I have completed it. All right, so I'm back. So here is what the handles look like on the back side, like this. Yeah, so now what you'll do is you'll take your little side pieces like this, and you're gonna sew onto the back, like back to back, on the right side. I usually do it so that I don't get mixed up because I have been known to put them on the same side and then it ends up I have to rip everything out. So just so you know, I always usually do it on the right side like that. The other reason is because then when you open it up, you'll see that you don't have two of the same color beside each other. Not that that's a big deal, but I tend to have a little bit of OCD when it comes to things like that. So I don't like the colors unless I'm doing all the same, I don't like having the colors be beside each other when they're the same color. All right, so what I'll do now is I'll sew down the side, but I do it twice. I go down and I come back up, and I leave about a centimeter at the bottom so that I don't go all the way to the bottom, simply because when you're putting on the base at the bottom, you want to be able to peel back the sides a little bit. So if it's sewn all the way straight to the bottom, then it makes it a lot harder to put space on. So yeah, so just go up and back, and like I said, leave that little bit there, and I will return in a moment. Okay, so just really quick, I'm gonna jump in here. So basically you have two pieces like this now, and what you'll do is you'll just attach the other sides so that it creates a rectangle by putting them on this way and like that. Same way that you do it, down and back and up, and leaving the little space at the bottom. All right. All right, so the last stage is the bottom, and it's the trickiest and the part I like the least. What you need to do is you've got this piece here. Now it's going to be longer than the bottom, so I don't cut it till the end just to make sure that everything's fit together. But usually what I'll do is take this section, just because it's the sturdier piece, and line it up on the inside here like this. See how I've got these pieces, because I haven't gone down all the way to the bottom, so it folds open a little bit better. Just makes it handier. So you line it up like this, and then again reinforce double this way, and then we'll go along the sides. And so I will do it step by step just so that you can see how it works. It does take some maneuvering, but thankfully the bags are pretty flexible. Okay, so double reinforced right here like that. So now what you'll do is you will straighten it out and fold it the other direction. Just give me 1 second. Lining it up as best as you can, like this. Sorry, it's a little tricky right now. It doesn't, because the jammer bags themselves are not all the same size. I find that sometimes you end up with a bit of a distorted bottom, and you just do your best to try and make it work. So now you can see I've attached it, or not attached, but folded it like that. And again, you'll just go along here and back, reinforcing it with double stitching. Okay, so now that you've done that side, I jump to the other side. I don't do this piece, I leave last. So you jump to the other side, and again, the same system of folding it down as best as you can and making it line up on this side. All right, folks, we're down to the very, very end. Like I said, the jammers are a little bit uneven in shape, so you will probably notice that this last piece often sews a bit crooked. If you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it's not 100% parallel, this line and this line, but it's minor and you really don't notice it in the bag. So now you're down to that last piece, and I sew it back and forth, and then I'll slice off that top part there, and your bag will be done. I guess I can show you that part. It's not that hard to show. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so out of habit, I cut off the bottom without actually showing that part of it. But anyway, the bottom looks like this now, so you do have that extra piece that's been cut off. And yeah, here's your bag. It's all good to go. Perfect. Looks like that. Looks great. I love it. I have never actually used the fruit punch color before, so it's a new one for me.